here, the Frugal Crafter, with a fun painting project for your kids or your classroom full of kids. What I've got here is some brown tempera paint, and I'm actually going to be doing this project with some kids at my free library class tomorrow. So what you want to do is just take a round brush and get it in the tempera paint. We're going to make some branches. Okay, and I'm kind of twisting my brush and wiggling it as I go so I get some really, really random branches, because things in nature are very random. This is a sign of spring picture, since everything's starting to melt and bloom. The snow's melting, the trees and branches are blooming. We're going to paint some catkins, also known as pussy willows. So I'm here if the more you press your brush, the bigger a line you're going to get. When you lift up on the end, you'll get a smaller line. When I loaded my brush, if you look at my brush here, I used dry tempera that you just mix with water, so that's why I have it in a little cup. But I twirl my brush and I'll get a nice point. If I use my brush straight up and down, I get a skinnier line. If I use it on its edge, I'll get a thicker line. So I kind of start on its edge and then I lift up as I go, and then I can pull off little branches. If you don't have a brush, you could use like a Q-tip, cotton swab, or a stick or skewer, something like that. I basically just want to get a bunch of branches here, and I'm working on this really big piece of paper. I found a whole stack of this when I cleaned out my studio the other day, so I thought, what fun would this be to bring this and let the kids in my class use it. And then if you want to add a little bit of green to your branches, you can, because sometimes they have a little bit of a green in them. I didn't even clean my brush, I just picked up a little bit of green on it. Just want it to look very natural. Kind of really stands out on that blue paper too, and just looks really lively. So we get that kind of dull gray blue, which is kind of the color of the sky right now. As it, before we're really into spring. You're kind of at the beginning of spring, at least here in Maine, where it's very we still have a lot of gray and rainy days ahead of us before we get to the really nice spring weather. All right, and then just either toss your brush in a bucket or rinse it out and set it aside. Tempera paint is great because it's like watercolor. It's, if it dries in your brush, you can still clean it out. I'm using some acrylics too, because that's what I have. They're both water-based. You can mix them together, but the acrylics you do need to either wash it right away or leave it in the water until you're ready to wash it. All right, so the next thing we're going to use is our actual fabulous finger tool, and we're going to use that to make the little buds, little blooms. So just kind of stick your finger in the paint, and it's okay to have it kind of thick, and I'm actually mixing a little bit of glue with my white acrylic paint. I got a little, you can use Elmer's glue or Mod Podge, any sort of white glue. And it's okay if it's washable, because this is going on paper, it's not like you're going to wash it. And what you want to do is you kind of want to bend your finger so you use it on the side maybe. You want to get some oblong pussy willow shapes. And we're working on a really big piece of paper, so you don't have to worry about it being really precise. You don't have to worry if you get a big old fingerprint on there, because the scale of the picture is big. I'm going to see, I didn't notice any on my walk this morning. I was going to go see if I could actually find some pussy willows to bring in, but I don't know. I'm going to have to look again tomorrow when I go for my walk, see if I can find any. But they're so pretty, and they're so soft, and they're just nice to see after you've been, in winter. And again, this is a project for kids, so I'm not worried about it being super realistic, and we're actually going to do a really fun technique in a second to make this even more fun and springy, so I'll show you that in a moment. So we're just finger painting here. Isn't that fun? So you could use white tempera paint. I'm using white acrylic because I looked, I didn't have any white tempera paint, and I had plenty of acrylic, so that's what I'm using, and it's actually going to really help adhere. We're going to put some flocking on here to make it really look realistic. All right, so I put that on pretty thick because I know I want this to kind of act as an adhesive too. So I'm just going over some of the first ones to make sure it's nice and thick there. I'm gonna wipe off your hand, and then I've got some flocking, which is basically a little fluffy fuzzy powder. And I've also got this, which it's my fake flour soft. And what I did was I just took a couple styrofoam balls or pieces of styrofoam, the crunchy kind, and I just rubbed them together, and then I added a little alcohol ink to make it kind of yellow. So what I'm going to do is sprinkle some of that on first, because this is a little bit thicker. It's going to be harder to stick. So you'll want to have, you know, shake this over a trash can when you're done, because it's styrofoam. It's not, you know, biodegradable. So I'm just going to sprinkle some of that on first. Now by now my tempera paint's already dry. And because Pussy Willows kind of have that little bit of yellow, I don't know what it is, like little sprinkly bits. Thank goodness I'm not a science teacher. Oh my goodness. And if anybody knows what that's called, if they want to leave a comment so I can actually know what I'm talking about tomorrow when I teach this art project. And then I'm putting on some of this flocking, and what I do is I actually shake up the container first to fluff it, and then I just sprinkle it over, and I will shake this all around to get as much stuck into the white bits as I can. So this is just a little fun flock. You can use there's different brands. Flock goes a long way, so don't worry about, you know, using it up. I've had this for a long time. I think I got it at a yard sale even, so I didn't even buy it new, and it just seems to expand. It's very bizarre stuff. So I'm just going to kind of shake it around a little bit so it sticks. And then I'm just going to get my rubbish can over here and dump the excess in. Whew, it's dusty in here. This is riveting video, isn't it? Alright, so now what we have are fuzzy little Pussy Willows. You probably can't really see the fuzziness. Maybe you can. It will show up a lot more when it's dry. If I hold it up, maybe you can see that it's fluffy. And then I want to add another little accent. So what I'm going to do, I want a little green. Even though this part is really more brown, I feel like it just wants it, the picture itself, the composition needs a little bit of green in it. So what I'm going to do is grab that brush I was just using, blot it off on a tissue, paper towel, rag, whatever you have, and I'm going to use a little of this green, and you can mix it with brown if it's a little bit too green for you. Yeah, that's a little green. I'm going to grab a little bit of brown with that. And they usually have these little buds right on the edge, and you'll be picking up some, you know, flour soft as you go. Don't worry about it. Just kind of go in and dab a little bit on there. That's just going to give it a little bit of liveliness. So this is very impressionistic and easy and fun. And rinse off your brush if it gets too goopy. But I think this is going to be a really fun project for the kids. Now you're probably thinking, how are you going to entertain those kids? A whole class. This took you like 5 minutes. Well, I'll tell you something that I have found teaching children, both, you know, knit, crochet, and crafts, is that if something takes me 5 minutes, it's probably going to take them 20. That's just something I have found over the years, and I'm going to be encouraging them to take their time and really enjoy the process, whereas I'm just trying to kind of get the technique out for you so you can see it and teach it to your kids, or if you're a kid watching it yourself, you know, ask mom and dad for the paint, or, you know, big brother, big sister, and then you guys can work on that project. And, you know, it really doesn't take a lot of supplies. If you don't have, you know, a big sheet of paper like this, just go to your garage, look in the recycling bins. If you can find a pizza box or something like that, you can paint on the back of, because honestly, you don't need to have, you know, anything in particular. Use what you have. If, you know, you got a side of a refrigerator box, or maybe you even have like a wall or something that you want to decorate, or go to the butcher's and ask them for a big sheet of butcher paper, anything like that. And really just have fun and make art, and that's all you need to do. Don't forget to sign your name at the bottom, because you created an awesome piece of artwork and you should be proud of it. And if you have any questions, leave a comment below. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.